If you actually want to be very wealthy, if you actually want to be very affluent or successful financially in the society, there are some certain principles or basic principles or rules of money that you need to observe, and this will actually guarantee you what I call wealth. And I'll be talking about these, rules of money making that can actually to make you to actually be financially fit. And join me as I actually, discuss this and expatiate more, and also, explain more on what I'm actually talking about when you talk about money making or wealth creation. Number one is that you need to understand the kind of investor that you are actually are. And when you talk about investor is somebody that actually puts his money into investment and actually expect a return back, which is what I call a compound interest or a profit in return for his what for his investment. So not everybody is actually an investor. So your level of education and your level of experience and exposure will actually determine whether you are going to be an investor or not. Because most people that are not educated in our capitalist system do not usually invest their money, because they always take the money and spend the money. And some also believe that they can actually save their money, or their K1, invest savings can actually guarantee them wealth and actually give them a blissful future when they actually retire at the end of the day. But that is not the case. The key to wealth creation is actually investment. So you can actually invest as a speculator, you can actually invest as an inter-trader or inter-day trader, and you can actually invest as what I call a short-term investor, or you can actually invest as a long-term investor. Now, each of these that I actually mentioned, they actually have what, their various returns at the end of the day, depending on the amount of money that you are willing to invest at the end of the day. And don't forget also that you can actually invest into index, you can actually invest into mutual funds, and you can actually invest the money into what I call ETFs or exchange trust fund, depending on what you actually wanted. Or you can invest your money into what I call stocks or shares at the end of the day. Then they also take different forms of risk. So if you're an investor, you have short-term risk and long-term risk, or based on the amount of money you are willing to invest and how much you have what I call a risk tolerance. Tolerance. Then number two is what I call increasing time zone is the best strategy to grow your money. If you want to actually build your wealth, what we're saying here is that you need to increase your time horizon, because the more you actually put more money, the earlier you actually start, the better at the end of the day. So when you're talking about an investment, it's actually a decade of a sacrifice that takes a long period of time, maybe for example 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, depending on how far you can actually go at the end of the day. So you need to increase your time horizon, because your time horizon is the best strategy that can actually grow your money. The more you put more money, the more you start earlier, the better at the end of the day, because this will increase your level of returns at the end of the day. Then your behavior also decides your success in the investing. That is the third one. Your behavior decides your success in the investing. What is actually your behavior? Are you the kind of person that you have a risk tolerance, or you don't have a risk tolerance? Are you the kind of person that you are, the kind of person that you don't want to keep it simple? But it is very better or very good for you if actually, number one, you actually keep it very, very simple. Because sometimes, for example, if you're actually an active investor, there's every possibility or every risk that at the end of the day your investment might not yield, at that point in time. And this is quite risky for you, because if you're actually an active investor, you need what we call a high level of financial education. I must be actively involved in the investment of investing at the end of the day. So if you don't have a high risk tolerance, then active investment is not actually the right thing for you. So you must keep it very simple if you actually want to invest your money in the investment world. Number two, you must invest on long-term investment. Now, that's what I call the decade of sacrifice. And most people will say that when you talk about decade of sacrifice, how do you expect me to save my money or invest my money for a period of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, even up to 20 years. How will I do that? I can't do that. That is why we said it's a decade of a sacrifice. So if you actually want to make money, then you should be ready to invest your money for a longer period of time. Don't forget that I talk about time horizon, that the earlier the better, the earlier you start, and the more you put, that will generate more, returns or profit at the end of the day, or what I call interest at the end of the day. So you need to invest on longer term. Like I, for one, I started some period of time, and I'm still pushing up even up to now, investing more of my money, because the more I spend more time investing over the years, the more I build more wealth for myself. And if you are actually the type that you are not financially educated, or you don't have what we call long risk tolerance, you can go for what we call passive investment by investing or what indirectly, like what I do. I invest in what we call money market fund, MMF, money market fund, under what we call mutual fund. So the choice is actually yours at the end of the day. Then you must create what I call a diversify the portfolio. I'm still talking about the third one. You must create what we call diversify the portfolio. And what do I mean by diversify portfolio? A lot of people make a lot of mistake here regarding diversified, portfolio. What you mean by diversified portfolio is that at the initial stage, you should only stick to one investment. But as your investment is growing over time, now you can now decide to diversify. And that's why I told you that I'm actually going to invest my money into what we call a quantum zenith. And I've actually started that. So the choice is actually yours. So it's actually what I call a creation of what of diversified portfolio. Then it must also allow compound interest, to work its magic. What do I mean by compound interest? You see, the beauty of investment is that it works in a compound way. Now, imagine if you actually invest your money for a long period of time, for example, 10 years, and you're putting 1 million every year, 1 million every year, 1 million every year. At the end of the day, after 10 years, that's 1 million every year, which is 12 million. We guarantee what we call 24 million at the end of the day. That is how compound interest actually works. And presently now, money market funds actually paying out 23.3% interest on return on investment per annum. That's a very big amount of money. Now, then the problem that's associated with all these things that we're talking about here is that a lot of people are actually afraid of taking risk, and apart from that, a lot of people are actually very, very greedy. So if you are the type that cannot take any risk, most especially when you are into what we call an active investment, where you are directly involved and you have an idea about how the market actually works, then you can go for what I call a passive investment. Then apart from that, if you are the greedy type, because investment is not something that you have to put all your life into, because it might not work out the way you actually wanted, most especially if you are also an active investor. And that's why I always advise people that if you don't have the risk tolerance, go for passive investment portfolio. Number four is that risk and return go hand in the hand. What do I mean by that? Risk and return go hand in hand. That is, if you are not the type that can take risk, investment is not for you. Then another thing is that investment is very, very risky. Most people are actually involving directly in what we call stocks and trade and the rest of them, because at the end of the day you can actually lose your money. Then imagine a situation where we have what we call economic downturn, or what we call economic slow economic pace in the country. When these things like this happen, a lot of people usually go into panic. That is where most people always sell their stocks at a very cheaper discount, even up to the point of of discounting it at 50% discount. And that is where this man that's actually called Warren Buffett actually comes in, because he will wait for a moment like this when there's global economic downturn, and he will purchase all these stocks at a very cheap price. And that's what has been making Warren Buffett to be very, very rich even up to today, because he always wait for the market to actually crash, and he will capitalize on that and buy all the stocks, because the market is going to bounce back. So if you're not the type that can be patient, you don't have a risk tolerance, then investment is actually not for you. Especially actually an active investor. Now, so that's what I mean by risk and return go hand in hand. So number one, higher returns come with what? With higher risk. That is it. Higher returns comes with higher risk. So if you're actively involved in what we call, active investment portfolio, which where you are actually directly involved in what in investment, you can have a lot of returns. But at the end of the day, too, you can have a lot of risk. So they go hand in hand. Then you must be able to beat inflation with good margin. You see, the purpose of the investment is that you must be able to beat inflation. You see, a lot of people are complaining now because inflation is affecting so many things. Even as of today, petrol in Nigeria is sold at 900 and something naira, which is very, very high, which is very, very astronomical. But if you are actually an investor, at this point in time, you'll be making a lot of money because you will be having a lot of returns. And that's why inflation today has actually made people that are actually investing their money to be getting about 23.33% as annual return on their investment. So you must be able to beat inflation when you are actually investing. Then number five is what I call spend less than you earn. You are not so if you want to be financially fit, you are not supposed to be extravagant. You must spend lesser amount of your money. So you earn more and spend less. You earn more and invest more. The more you earn, the more you invest. Like what I always tell people, if you can actually divide your money into 50, 30, 20, when you use 50% of your money for spending, 30% of your money or 35% of your money for investment, then the remaining 15% can go for savings when you actually prepare for emergency, because emergency can actually happen in their life. So another thing is that, which is number six, is that you must never borrow money to invest in the market, because it's very, very risky. The market can crash at any time if you're an active investor. So never borrow money from the bank to invest. Though some people do that, some people do that. I mean, most especially in an advanced country where, like the man that wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, he is actually the kind of person that he always borrow money to buy, stocks and the rest of them and invest his money. And it's making it's actually working for him. But you cannot compare the advanced, country's economy with economy of developing country, because there's a big margin between the two of them. Now, in advanced country, the interest rate is very low, about 3 point something percent or 4%. But in Nigeria, and so in Nigeria in particular, the interest rate is about 24 point something percent. So borrowing money to invest now is not even good enough. I could remember the last time I went to a bank and I was talking to a bank cashier that I wanted to get loan, and she was telling me that I was going to pay 24 point something percent of what I'm going to get, from the bank. And I said, no, I can't do that. It's very risky and it's not a good investment. Do you get it now? So don't borrow money to invest in the market. Then another one, which is number seven, is that you must invest in yourself. You must invest in yourself. Financial education is very, very important. You must invest in your education, financial education. Because most of the things we learn in school, when we're in the university or in secondary school or higher college or whatsoever, they don't teach us on how to make money. But now that you know that you need to make money, you must invest in that financial education. So invest in yourself, read more, watch good movies, or watch good lectures or videos that will actually help you on how to actually build your wealth. But unfortunately today, most people watch videos on those dancing, those singing, and all those things that cannot add any value to your life, because everybody wants money. Even a poor man wants money, an average man wants money, a rich man wants money. But how do you get to maintain the money even when the money comes at the end of the day? Everybody wants money, because if you want to be successful in life, if you want to make it in life, you need money, because money will make you to be successful. Money will make you to have value in the society. Money will expand or create or give you what we call a higher social stratification. It will increase your level. It will increase your your earning. It will increase your standard of living. So we all wanted money, but even when the money comes, do you know the dynamics of money or how money actually works? A lot of people don't even know about this. So you need to learn how to actually equip yourself regarding to how you can actually manage your money, invest your money, spend your money, and also build your wealth. So it is important that you must be successful in 2024. Then it is also important to talk about money. People don't want to talk about money because they'll tell you that money is the root of all evil, money is a taboo, money is not good, money makes the world people to commit crime, to commit ritual, to commit all sort of crimes and illegitimate things and the rest of them. That assumption, that belief, that conception is actually very, very wrong. Money answereth all things. You understand? So we need to talk about money. We need to discuss about money because those that are actually rich today, they actually talk about money. They discuss money within their circles on how to expand their business, on how to expand their investment, on how to become more wealthier. And that is why in the society that we are in today, the rich will keep getting richer and the poor will keep getting poorer. It is not actually because that is the principle, that is how it is being done or conditioned or rigged in a capitalist system. Now, unfortunate thing is that people, as they earn this money, they spend this money. You see, last time I was talking about three categories of people in the society. I said we have those that fall within the lower class, we have those that fall within the middle class, and we have those that fall within the higher class. Now, the lower class, once they get the money, they spend the money. There's nothing like investment, there's nothing like savings, there's nothing like planning, nothing. They get the money, they spend the money. The middle class, they get the money to fund their lifestyle. They want to pretend, they want to make people look as if they are rich. They live this fake, fictitious life. They buy expensive things. They buy expensive, luxurious things. They go on expensive vacation. And funny enough, they use their credit cards to fund those things, all these things. And unfortunately, they live in debt. They live in debt because they live in the tsunami of debt. Because at the end of the day, their expensive lifestyle is being funded by their credit cards and their debts that they are owing mortgage financial institutions and other forms of financial institutions that actually render this money to them, and they pay a lot of interest. Do you understand now? So the lower class will get the money and spend the money immediately. The middle class will get the money and invest the money on what? On their luxurious or expensive lifestyle. Then the upper class or the higher class will get the money and invest the money. They use the money to grow more money. Their money is actually working for them. Their money is actually growing for them. Now, some people work hard to qualify for debt. So the middle class and the lower class, to some extent, they work really hard to qualify for debt to fund their expensive lifestyle. Because the more they are able to pay on their credit card scores and they pay very early enough, the more it will qualify them for more debt. So they live from one debt to another. Imagine 365 days in a year, you are paying debt and you are paying debt. Now, calculate the amount of interest that you have been paying on that debt for the next 10 years. Then you know that you are supposed to have been a billionaire by now. But unfortunately, you want to live an expensive lifestyle. You want to, look big. You want people to look at it as if you are very, very rich, and then you don't even think of investing the money, but rather you are busy borrowing money up and down. So some people live to qualify for debt to fund their expensive lifestyle. A lot of people do not have what investment to make them to be rich. So these people or those people or category of people that we're talking about here do not even have any form of investment that will make them to be rich. No investment, no savings. They only get the money and spend it to pay for their credit card debt at the end of the day. Now, to be rich starts with what you are doing with your money. So if you want to be rich, what do you do with your money? Do you earn the money and divide your money every month into three parts? Do you have a budget that you follow every month when you get that money? Or you are the type that once you get the money, you spend the money? No savings, no investment. You understand now? So if you want to be rich, what do you do with the money? Do you actually invest your money in the money market funds, or invest your money in what? In index or mutual funds or ETFs or rental estate or what? Or you invest the money on yourself. You invest the money into your businesses. Which category are you? Are you an investor, or you are an entrepreneur, or you are actually a consumer? Because in every capitalist society, we have the producers and the consumers. The consumers are actually the lower class, or those people that do not know how to manage or spend their money or how to invest their money. Then the producers and the, which are actually the investors and the entrepreneurs, are those that actually invest the money. They use the money to create a compound interest or a multiplier interest for them, or the money transform or transcend into a compound interest for them at the end of it, because they are earning profit and making more money at the end of the day at the expense of those of those that actually earn the money and spend the money or earn the money to pay their debt at the end of the day. Now you need to save, spend, and what and invest some of your money. So once you get the money in a month, divide it into three parts: into investment, into savings, into spending. Investment, you don't touch the money, invest it to create what we call compound returns for you at the end of the day. Then it is a decade of sacrifice where you have to put the money over and over and over, at least for a minimum of 10 years. Then the second one is what is the spending, because you need money every day. You need to spend money to carry out your daily activities. In other words, that means that what in that situation you have to spend money, and you have to create a specific amount of money that you have to create for spending. Then for your savings, emergency happens in life, so you have to create room for your savings where you don't spend that money. At the end of the month, if the money is not being used, you can reinvest that money into what we call your investment, and that will make your investment to actually grow very, very big. So you need to learn, you need to save, you need to spend, and you need to invest some of your money. Now a lot of people do not know how the system works or how money works in the economy. This is actually how money works. You need to spend, you need to invest, and you need to spend. You need to spend, you need to invest, and you need to save some of this money. Savings for emergency, spending is for daily use, and what your investment is a decade of sacrifice where you put the money to start working for you and to start creating value for you. The capitalist system, those that actually make money are those that actually rely on their capital through investment. Do you get it now? So if you actually want to make money in the capitalist system, then you need to rely on your capital, because capitalism is what is capital. Free market economic system is capital. Free market economic system is what is creating value. Free market economic system is creating wealth. Free market economic system is what is creating what I call success. So those that actually make money are those that actually rely on their capital. So for you to actually make money, you have to rely on your money to make more money for you by investing your money. So wealth is not created through working. People tell you that I have to work and work and work and work and work, but it is created by capital, by investing your money. So it does not matter if you have actually been working for 30 years, 50 years, it doesn't matter. You can still be poor. You can actually be poor because why? You are not putting your money into operation, because you don't understand how the dynamics of money actually works. So you need to put your money into investment. So wealth is not created through working, but through capital, by investing your money. Money only have value when you use it. Do you get it now? Money will only have value when you use that money. So money, is something that creates value. Imagine you keep your money in the bank, the money will not create value in the bank, because when inflation comes in that period of time, like what we're experiencing now, you realize that the money you have actually put in the bank account will not even create anything for you. The inflation is going to, is going to swallow up all your money, and because in the period of inflation, money does not have any value. So that is why we are saying that for you to make more money in this system, your profit should be able to create more margin for what? Towards inflation. That is, what you are making should be able to beat inflation, should be able to create a margin between what you are making and the inflationary trend. So in other words, we are creating more value for you at the end of the day. Now the system is done to make people to be financially uneducated, because that is how capitalism has been created. That is how capitalism actually works. You have to be uneducated. You have to be financially uneducated. And that's why today people find themselves in the situation they are actually complaining about this, about that. They blame the sun, the moon, the atmosphere, the people in the village, the witches and the witchcraft and the rest of them for their poverty. As if they are fools by heavenly compulsion. Do you get it now? Now the system is actually rigged under a capitalist system to make people to be financially uneducated, and that's why I'm saying that you have to invest on your financial education. So people actually spend the money they do not have in this economic system. That is the problem. People actually spend the money they do not have, and you ask me, how do they spend the money they do not have? They spend the money they do not have because they rely on credit card, they rely on easy buy, they rely on what we call buy now and pay later, they rely on what we call loans and other forms of financial obligations that are given out by banks to entice people to put people into more debt while other people are but they are making other people to be very very rich at the end of the day. So because of your lack of what of financial education, you're actually making other people rich while you are actually what poor at the end of the day. So you have to decide what you actually want for yourself. So people are actually spending money they do not have in this capitalist system because the capitalist system has been rigged to make people to be financially uneducated. Now the economic system profits the banks and the corporations and the government. That is capitalism for you. The system is profiting the banks because when you go to the bank and borrow money from them, you pay interest. The bank is making more money, but you are becoming poorer. Then it pays the corporations because when you buy those things from those people, you are creating value for them and they are making more money, but they are making you to be very, very poor. I'm not saying that you should not consume anything, but rather you should rather invest into that corporation yourself. When you buy their shares or you buy their stocks or you invest through what we call mutual funds or index funds or what we call index or mutual or the other one ETFs, which is a steam trusted fund. So you have to invest your money. Don't be a consumer only, but be a producer. Be a producer, either as an entrepreneur or as an investor. So the economic system profits the bank, it profits the government, it profits the corporations, and it profits what the so-called clientele, or bourgeoisie in the society. So you need to decide to belong to that class where your money is actually working for you, where the money is actually going for you, and your money is creating value for you at the end of the day. So you need to develop a positive mindset if you actually want to, survive in this economic system, because a lot of people don't have a positive mindset. They are always discouraged. They feel so impatient that how can I save money? How can I invest money for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, for the next 15 years, for the next 20 years? I cannot do that. That's what they will tell you, but it's possible. So you need to develop a positive mindset for you to be able to do this. Then you need to have what we call a decade of what we call a sacrifice. The decade of sacrifice is a decade of where you discipline yourself, you deny yourself so many things. You deny yourself designer wears, you deny yourself designer wristwatch, you deny yourself designer shoes, expensive cars, living in luxurious apartments, proving or behaving or showing to people that are actually rich on social media, showing you off your cars, your beautiful house, and all. You have to deny yourself so many things. So that is why it's actually a decade of a sacrifice, decades of sacrifice, where you deny yourself so many of these things just to build your wealth. And after some time, you discover that by the time your money grow up in the compound interest form, those things you can actually get it in the future without any problem at all, because there is a sufficient money on ground for you. At that point in time, even when you retire, you can be paying yourself. Now, so it takes a decade of sacrifice. So there are 3 factors that will determine how wealthy you are going to become in life. 3 factors will determine how wealthy you are going to become in life. Number 1, how much time you are willing to invest your money. That's why I said it's a decade of sacrifice. Are you willing to invest only for 1 month and go and withdraw that money? Or you are willing to invest for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? So how much time, the amount of time that you are willing to invest your money will determine how rich you are going to be in the future. Apart from the fact that how many time or how long you are willing to invest your money, then what will actually determine how rich you are going to be again is going to be determined by your return on your investment. The return on your investment, that is, how much are you going to get at the end of the day? And that's why for one, I choose what we call money market fund, where I'm getting 23 point something percent at the end of the day. Today now, I have been paid some amount of money. What will determine how wealthy you are going to become in the future is how much time you are willing to invest your money, not for 1 year, for 10 years, or 15 or 20 years, where you can now retire comfortably, or on the return on your investment. That is the money that you have invested. What are you going to get at the end of the day? Imagine putting 1 million naira every year for the next 20 years. That will get you 40 million naira. 40 million naira. You can retire with 40 million naira comfortably in your life. It is actually possible because you are going to be paid in what? Compound interest form at the end of the day. Then another one is that it's going to be done by how much money you are willing to invest. How much money you are willing to invest. Are you willing to invest 5,000 every month, or you are willing to invest 50,000 every month, or 100,000 every month, or 200,000 every month, or every month you put into your investment like maybe 500,000 every month. It depends on how good or how buoyant or how much you're earning for your work from your work that your primary job you're actually doing. And that's why I said you must always divide your income into three parts: into savings, investment, and what and spending. So you must have a definite amount of money that you want to be putting every month. Like for me, I have a definite amount of money I am putting every month. But for this month, I didn't put anything into my APN edge. I only invested my money into what we call quantum zenith, where I'm actually also trying to build money market fund under quantum zenith, because I love money market fund very much, because the highest paying dividend under the mutual fund. Do you get it? Under the mutual fund. I don't invest my money in index. I don't invest my money in ETFs, but I love money market funds or mutual funds where I get higher returns at the end of the day. So you must keep beating inflation if you want to be wealthy in 2024. If you want to be wealthy in 2024, you must keep beating the inflation like what most of us are doing now. We are beating inflation down every day, every year. We are beating down inflation because we are getting more than the inflationary trend, and money is actually creating value for us at the end of the day. And money is actually creating what? Wealth for us at the end of the day. And money is actually working for us and growing for us every day. The yardstick to wealth creation is actually investment, and it depends on what you want to actually invest your money in. Are you going to be an active investor or a passive investor? I beg you, if you don't have an idea about how the stock works, how the financial market actually works, don't go into active investment. You can go into what we call passive investment, where you meet a portfolio investment manager and he will advise you professionally on where to actually invest your money. And at the end of the day, you actually decide what you actually wanted for yourself. On this note, I'm going to end this discussion on the rules of money, on how to actually stay financially fit. I hope you have actually gained something at the end of the day. If you have actually gained something from this video, please subscribe now. Share the videos to the outside world, to those people that actually needed it. And don't forget about that the key to the future is actually investment. So till I see you next time, I remain your humble, loyal, pragmatic, inventive, resilient, hardworking dividend. And my YouTube channel is a greater mindset. Thank you and God bless you. To my return subscribers, I say a very big thank you. And if you have not subscribed, I will subscribe now. So till I see you next time, God bless Lagos, God bless Nigeria, God bless the whole world, and God bless you also abundantly. Bye bye. Thank you.